Now, there weren't any warrants associated with this incident, correct?
There was not.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions about the state's questions, and then I'm going to back up and ask my questions. Is that all right?
That's fine. Go ahead.
So, you arrive at the scene. You didn't recognize Miles Farley, correct?
Do me a favor, talk in the microphone, please, sir. Thank you.
When you first saw Miles Farley, you didn't recognize him, correct?
No.
Okay. Now, you talked about the Cleveland Avenue area. It's true, though, that not everyone who lives in the Cleveland Avenue area is a criminal, correct?
That's true.
Okay. And you said it's unusual to see a Lamborghini on Cleveland Avenue?
At 1 o'clock in the morning at 5 Cleveland Avenue it is. I'd never seen one in 2 years at that time.
Okay.
I only work at night, so.
Okay, and is that because it's a lower income area?
Yes.
Okay. There's not a lot of job opportunities, right?
I don't know. I don't live there. You said job opportunities?
Yes.
I've never applied for a job in that area.
Okay.
I work there though.
Okay, so you are patrolling this beat for about 2 years, but you're not familiar with the economic situation of the area.
The economic situation? It's a lower impoverished area, yes.
Okay, have you ever heard it called Lil Haiti?
No, I haven't.
Okay, and you've been patrolling this area for 2 years?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you talked about having an experience with this house before, that you saw a bunch of cars outside.
Yes.
Did that make you angry seeing people having fun?
No, it did not make me angry.
Okay, did it make you angry seeing people have nice cars?
No, it did not. I like my truck.
Okay, and so it didn't make you jealous at all seeing people having fun?
I got an older model truck that I really enjoy that I'm never going to sell.
Okay. Now, at this point then, when you arrive after the shooting, you already thought this was somehow some kind of criminal house?
Yes.
Okay, so you've been wanting to get in there, right?
Not in particular. It's just been on my radar. I just patrol the area.
Okay, it's been on your radar as a house that's involved in crime?
Mainly because I've seen YSL members there, but yes.
So yes. And so you're a police officer. You're in charge of stopping crime, correct?
Correct.
So it's your answer that you are aware of a house that you think is involved with crime, yet you have no interest to get inside?
That's correct, because I'm a patrol officer. We have investigative unit. My job is very unique in the sense that when a crime happens and the perpetrator's not there, I write it down and move on. If the perpetrator is there, I arrest them. Again, hanging out at a house is not a crime. Correct. So I did not, there was no reason for me to investigate that. I'm not an investigator. I'm a patrol officer, and we're very short-staffed, as you probably know, and I'm very busy.
Right, and you said that, though, you thought the house is associated with crime.
Yes.
And that because you're a patrolman, you didn't have any interest of going inside.
That's correct.
But as a person of law enforcement, you did have an interest for someone else from law enforcement to get in there, right?
Say that again?
So the house, you say, is a criminal house.
Uh-huh.
And you don't have any interest in anyone from law enforcement getting inside?
I don't have any interest from anyone from law enforcement getting inside. That's your question? Is that your question?
You are telling us...
I'm telling you that I'm a patrol officer. I don't sit around and try to get in people's houses. I handle anywhere from 15 to 20 calls a night, 40 hours a week on Cleveland Avenue for 13 years. And I don't have time to think about going into people's houses. I deal with people on the street. They're moving in cars. There's people that are pulling guns on us on traffic stops, drug deals, all that. I'm not concerned with going in someone's house. We have plenty of investigative units that's their sole focus, is getting warrants, hitting warrants. I don't hit warrants. I've never hit a warrant. I've been a patrol officer my entire 13 years.
Okay. And though you do have an interest in stopping crime?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you're hearing someone on the Ring audio, you didn't ask them, is everybody okay in there? You didn't testify about asking if anyone was okay?
I asked him if well, you'd have to, I'm sure I asked him if someone was hurt inside the home or if anyone was home. He had told me that he wasn't there and no one should be inside the house. I believe that's what he said. But this was more than a year ago, so you'd have to play the body cam to get the exact conversation.
Okay. And then when Officer Suezo kicked in the bedroom, or kicked in the front door, that's when you found out that no one was injured?
He's a sergeant, but yes.
Okay, sorry about that.
Sergeant Suazo.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that the people inside of the house were victims.
Yes.
Is that typical for law enforcement when they're dealing with victims to just immediately detain them?
It is when we're still conducting an investigation and when facts aren't lining up with the evidence we're seeing, such as you're saying that you're in the woods and you're completely dry, or you're saying you're not coming to the door for 20 minutes when we're announcing police because you're scared of gunfire. When we have inconsistencies like that, we do detain people, and I've done it numerous times throughout my career until we further our investigation, because officer safety is a real problem out there, especially at night when there's very limited resources besides the officer to your left and to your right.
And especially because you already think that this is a supposedly criminal house, correct?
Yes, I have seen, especially, because I've seen YSL members at that house on numerous occasions in the front yard, yes.
And now by YSL, are you referring to Young Stoner Life, Young Slime Life, or Yves Saint Laurent?
Well, I'm not really into rap. I'm not in the rap culture, all right? I don't do none. The only thing that I know is YSL. I see slime written everywhere. I see YSL. So to me, I guess it's Young Slime Life, but I don't listen to rap. I don't do all that. So to me, it's slime because that's what I see written on everything.
Okay, and there were no bullet holes coming out of the house, correct? There's no evidence of anyone from inside the house firing out of the house.
Once we were done concluding the investigation, I don't believe we found any bullet or defects coming out of the house. They all appeared to go in. Yeah.
Okay. And then when you go into the house, Mr. Miles Farley comes out with his hands up and tells you that he's scared?
I believe so, yes.
And then you immediately put him in handcuffs.
Well, we asked him what was going on. Why are you guys hiding? We thought you were dead. Like, why aren't you coming to the door? And they couldn't give us any answers. So we did detain them and sat them on the couch.
Okay, Miles Farley told you, though, that he was scared. That's why he didn't go to the door.
Yes.
Okay. And is that normal when victims are in fear and they haven't shot at you or done anything wrong that you put them in handcuffs?
Well, the thing is, we were out there for quite a while with blue lights. With probably 6 officers. We have blue lights blaring everywhere. We got crime scene tape up. We're pounding on the door. I mean, to still be scared with that much police presence, that is highly unusual from drive-by shootings on residents that I've handled in the past.
Okay, now I'm going to back up to the beginning and ask my questions, okay?
Okay.
All right. So now you are trained in writing reports, correct?
Yes.
And you're very experienced in writing reports, correct?
I am.
Okay, and that's because reports are important in law enforcement?
They are.
Because they help you remember what happened later on at trial?
Yep.
Okay, and they're actually relied on by others as well, correct?
Yes.
And they're...
Along with the body cam and crime scene photographs.
Right. And we did have body cam in this case, correct?
Correct.
And no reason to think that the body cam was changed or altered in any way?
There's no reason to think that.
And these reports are written soon after the incident, correct?
Correct.
And that's what makes them reliable?
Yes.
Okay. And they're relied on by other police officers, right?
Yes.
And prosecutors?
Yes.
Okay. And they're also relied on in case you're not around to testify, correct?
Correct.
If maybe you move away, or if you retire,
Correct.
or if, knock on wood, you're hurt or killed?
Yeah.
Okay. And you followed your experience and your training when you wrote the reports in this case, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now I'm going to move on to you arriving on the scene. So how many officers in total arrived on the scene that night?
4 to 6, 5 to 6. I don't know. In total, you're talking about investigators, the night commander,
Right.
everybody?
Yeah, just all law enforcement, gang experts, patrolmen.
More than 10, probably.
Okay. And about how long after those officers arrived was the door broken down?
It was a while. I want to say 40 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I'd have to estimate. I don't know the exact time, but it wasn't immediate. It was a while.
Right, okay. Now, you already believed at this time that Christian McMiller was killed as part of some kind of gang activity?
I believe that. Is that what you're saying?
At the time, is that what you thought?
I didn't have any formal information because I don't talk to investigators. Again, I work at night and I don't ever see them. I'm very I have very limited exposure to investigators, but I did believe that that was the case, yes.
Okay. And you also believe that this house is somehow related to Mr. Jeffrey Williams?
Yes, mainly because I saw his Lamborghini pull behind the house that night.
And you're actually on the body cameras talking about Mr. Jeffrey Williams even before the door is broken, correct?
Probably, yes.
Okay. And just to check, there was no Ford Fusion on the scene?
I don't know.
Okay. Maybe like a white Ford Fusion?
I didn't look at any of the vehicles. I was focused on the gunfire or the defects in the house.
Okay.
There may have been. I don't know.
Okay. But if there was, that would be on the body cam,
Yes.
which haven't been changed or altered in any way.
It'd be on somebody's body cam. There's a lot of officers out there. I didn't walk around in the yard or anything, but if it was out there, it'd probably be on somebody's.
Okay. A lot of officers, so a lot of body cams.
Yes.
Okay. And no one from inside the house called 911, correct?
Correct.
The 911 caller was actually an anonymous caller?
I don't recall, but if you're saying that's what it was, then that's probably true.
Would it refresh your memory if I showed you your report?
My report? Yeah. I got it right here.
Yeah.
Where is it at?
Don't read from it, but if you could take a minute to refresh your memory and then let the court know when your memory is refreshed.
Yes, I see it. The second sentence, it was anonymous caller with no callback number.
No callback number?
Correct.
Okay. So we don't know who called 911?
Correct.
Okay. So it could have been someone from in the house?
I mean, it could have been. I don't know. I had no idea.
Okay, right. And you didn't hear any screams coming from within the house?
No.
There's no blood outside of the house?
No.
There's no blood trail leading from outside of the house inside?
No.
There's no blood trail
I'm sorry,
leading.
go ahead.
Yeah, there's no blood trail from inside of the house outside of the house?
No.
Okay. And someone talks to you from the Ring doorbell, correct?
Correct.
And they don't ask for any kind of help or anything, right?
I asked them if they were in the house. They told me they were not at the house. So I asked him, is there anyone in the house? And he said, I don't know. So he wasn't much help. And then I asked him for his information because I would need it for the report, and he abruptly hung up on me.
He didn't ask you for help?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
But he wasn't there either. He wasn't the one getting his house shut up inside the house. So you know what I'm saying?
He didn't tell you that anyone was injured?
No, he didn't. He wasn't there.
Okay. And then some officers look through the broken blind and they see the legs of someone laying down.
Yes.
They don't see any blood inside the house.
We saw from the bottom of basically from the bottom of the knee to the foot. So, and that very limited view, so the blinds are closed. One of the blinds is cracked, so we have a very limited view inside this bedroom, but we do see skin from the knee to the foot, and it's not moving. I don't know whose it is, but it ain't moving. There was not blood, but it was not moving, and considering we'd been there for 20 minutes at that time, that's very odd. So I'm thinking he took a round to the chest, whoever this is laying in the bedroom, because a normal person ain't just gonna lay there like that for 20, 30 minutes. So that's my mindset.
So you didn't see any blood in the house?
And no, I didn't see any blood, no.
Didn't see any injuries in the house?
You talking about once we got in?
You didn't see any injuries within the house?
Like after we kicked in the door or through the limited, like through that little blind we were looking through?
You didn't observe anyone with injuries inside the house at any point during this incident, correct?
That is correct. Nobody was injured.
Okay. Now I'm going to move on to you encountering Mr. Miles Farley for the first time.
Okay.
All right. So when you enter the house, Mr. Farley is the first one to come out and meet you, correct?
I believe so.
And he's coming out with his hands up?
Yes.
He doesn't resist?
No.
He's not violent towards you?
No.
He doesn't tell you that, he tells you that he's scared?
Yes.
Okay. He actually doesn't resist anyone at any point, correct?
That's correct. Nobody resisted.
Okay, he's completely cooperative with you.
I wouldn't say completely cooperative. He gave me very limited information and didn't come to the door for 30 minutes. So that's kind of uncooperative in my opinion.
Mr. Farley never tells you anything that isn't true over the course of this incident, correct?
Well, considering he only told me he heard shots and hid, then I guess that would be an accurate statement.
Okay, thank you. Now, he gives you his full name, Miles Farley?
Yes.
Okay. There's no hesitation in him giving you his full government name, right? He just says it immediately,
Yep,
right?
he told me. Yes.
First and last?
That's correct.
Okay.
And his date of birth.
And his date of birth?
Correct.
Okay, which you can then use to look up criminal histories?
I didn't look up his criminal history.
Okay. And you don't, that's his.
We need that basic information for a report. All right. So every time a house gets shot up, which is pretty frequent, okay, I need the victim's name and date of birth so I can truly list them as a victim in the report, which is why we gather that information. We don't gather the information to run a bunch of stuff. We need them for the report.
Right. Mr. Farley appreciates you for that.
You're welcome.
It turns out that is his real name, right? Miles Farley?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And after he gives you his real name and tells you that he's scared, you put him in handcuffs.
Correct.
Okay. And then you put him on the couch.
Yes. And so can I elaborate on that?
You put him on the couch in handcuffs, correct?
Can I elaborate on that?
Go ahead.
Put him on the
Go
couch.
ahead. Hold on. Go ahead.
I can?
This is me, Mr. Manette.
Okay, I understand, Judge.
Go ahead. Go ahead. So
Okay.
what else were you going to elaborate?
So I just want to elaborate. So yes, we did handcuff him, but we did that because we weren't getting straightforward answers. We're furthering our investigation. They're hiding for 30 minutes, and also for officer safety. And I'm glad we did handcuff him because he had a loaded handgun in his pants that we had no idea about, which can be very dangerous for us. He had it in his pocket. So that's why, especially when we don't know what's going on, the initial stages of a very active scene that you could be killed in a second. I don't know if anyone's ever pulled a gun on you, but it happens very, very fast. So yes, we handcuff people when we don't know what's going on, when we're still diving into our investigation, and we just unhandcuff them once we determine what has happened for officer safety especially. And in that case, I'm glad we did. He definitely didn't have any ill intention, but he did have a loaded firearm in his pocket that we found out later about, which was given back to him after he was released.
Okay, I'll get to that later. So he is handcuffed because you're a bit skeptical about his role in the situation.
Yes.
Okay, but eventually he's allowed to leave.
Yes.
Okay, but at that time, because you're skeptical and you have him in handcuffs on the couch, he's not free to leave, correct?
I would say that he was detained. If he would have said, I want to leave, we'd treat him like a victim, but he was handcuffed and sat on the couch.
And now that's not true. When he asks, after you talk to him, and he asks, can someone come pick me up, you say no.
I said no. I don't recall saying no. I guess you can play the video for me to refresh my memory, if that's what I said.
Yeah, would it refresh your memory if I played you some of the video?
Yes, it would.
1 second.